Do you know the health risks associated with excessive caffeine consumption? It's a question that may seem a bit unsettling, especially if you're one of the millions who can't start their day without a steaming cup of coffee. But as ubiquitous as caffeine is in our society, it's important to understand the potential downsides of overconsumption. Let's start with a common issue: insomnia. Ever had a cup of coffee after dinner and then tossed and turned all night? That's caffeine at work, disrupting your sleep patterns. It can make it harder to fall asleep and even more challenging to stay asleep. Then there's the effect on your heart. Caffeine stimulates the heart, leading to an elevated heart rate. This might not be a problem for everyone, but for those with existing heart conditions, it could pose a significant risk. Moving on, have you ever felt jittery or anxious after drinking coffee? That's another potential downside of caffeine. It can exacerbate feelings of anxiety and even trigger panic attacks in some individuals. And let's not forget about digestive issues. Ever experienced that unpleasant burn of acid reflux after a cup of joe? Coffee stimulates the production of stomach acid, which can lead to heartburn or even stomach ulcers. Hydration is another factor to consider. Caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it increases urine production. Without balancing caffeine intake with adequate water, you could find yourself becoming dehydrated. Dependency is a serious issue too. Regular caffeine consumption can lead to dependence, with withdrawal symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and irritability when consumption is reduced or stopped. High blood pressure, bone health, pregnancy complications, and interference with medications are other potential concerns associated with excessive caffeine consumption. For example, caffeine can temporarily raise blood pressure, interfere with calcium absorption, increase the risk of miscarriage or low birth weight, and interact negatively with certain medications. But that's not all. There are even more reasons to consider reducing your caffeine intake. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the hidden dangers of caffeine in our next segment. Still thinking that extra cup of coffee won't hurt? Let's delve into more reasons why you might want to reconsider. Muscle tremors, for instance, can be a direct result of excessive caffeine consumption, causing twitching in even the most resilient of us. And if you're living with conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, acid reflux, or fibrocystic breast disease, caffeine can fan the flames, making symptoms more severe. But that's not all. Your daily coffee may also be increasing your risk of urinary incontinence. That's right, caffeine can irritate the bladder, leading to increased frequency and urgency in urination. Ladies, if you're going through menopause, caffeine might not be your best friend. It can potentially worsen symptoms such as hot flashes, mood swings, and insomnia. And let's talk about dental health. Coffee, especially when consumed regularly and without proper oral hygiene, can stain your teeth and contribute to dental erosion. Iron is an essential nutrient, but caffeine can inhibit the absorption of non-heme iron from plant-based foods, potentially leading to iron deficiency. And for those of us keeping an eye on our glucose levels, excessive caffeine intake may interfere with insulin sensitivity and glucose tolerance, potentially increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes. If you're dealing with gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, be aware that coffee can relax the lower esophageal sphincter, allowing stomach acid to reflux into the esophagus, worsening your symptoms. And a word of caution to those with underlying heart conditions. Excessive caffeine intake can trigger cardiac arrhythmias, making that extra cup of coffee a higher risk than you might think. Lastly, high levels of caffeine can lead to feelings of jitteriness, nervousness, and restlessness, which may interfere with your daily activities and overall well-being. So, is that cup of coffee really worth it? Let's sum up. Caffeine, while a staple in many of our lives, can have serious health implications if consumed excessively. From disrupted sleep patterns to increased heart rates, the effects of caffeine can be far-reaching. It can intensify feelings of anxiety, lead to digestive issues, and even result in dehydration. The dependency that often comes with regular caffeine consumption can bring about withdrawal symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and irritability. It may also cause high blood pressure, interfere with bone health, and complicate pregnancies. Moreover, it can interact negatively with certain medications, cause muscle tremors, and exacerbate certain medical conditions. Even dental health and glucose metabolism aren't safe from the effects of excessive caffeine. It's clear that moderation is key when it comes to caffeine consumption. And for some, reducing or even eliminating caffeine from their diet might be the healthiest choice. If you received value from this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, your health is your wealth. So next time you reach for that cup of coffee, Think about the potential risks and consider healthier alternatives.